Okay. There's a lot to explore on. I suppose the best place to start is just by saying hi. I've decided to create a profile where we can dive a little bit deeper into awareness. Awareness works in so many different faculties, it's very interesting. Um, I can sit in this room and have a complete awareness around my outside just by closing my eyes, allowing my body to relax. Shouldn't be sitting cross-legged because that's bringing the awareness to my body. I'm trying to just hear the sounds and it's very comfortable. No need to sit straight back, just here, just listening, letting the breath take over. Then there's the inner awareness, which requires a little bit more breath awareness for a beginning, because you have to start imagining the processes that are happening inside of you. And imagining is a very important word there, because it's a very internally creative process to bring awareness to your insides. The majority of us have obviously been more comfortable having an awareness of what's going on outside of us, not only through social media. This stems back from early childhood, be it food, be it friends, be it animals. That external awareness has also played such an important factor in our life for a long time. So in looking to get more in tune with yourself, not the sense of self, the self that dwells in the mind, in the heart, in the stomach, wherever it may be. My entire self could be encapsulated in my pinky toe, and I would have to go really deep within myself to find that out. So this profile is a foundation for awareness, exploring awareness, because there's many levels to it, many levels. I came across a video by Ekotoli, and he was asked a question by the audience, and she asked, what is the divine purpose of the universe? And in his conclusion, he came to the understanding that the divine purpose of the universe is to experience the outward creation of itself as well as the internal awareness of itself. So we're looking at an internal realization as well as an external manifestation, because one can only marvel at the glory that we can speak about something and see it materialize within the next 10 minutes, 2 days, 3 years. Regardless of how long it takes for your manifestation to take place, given the thought that in this present moment, I thought something, I spoke it, and in the future moment, which is part of the same existing now, you get to see it happen because of alignment. We live in a very energy-based universe. So, given the fact that we are internally a universe as well as externally a universe, there's energy on the outside that corresponds with the energy on the inside for each individual experiencer of consciousness. to make a reference to truly one of my favorite artists of our time is Rory Ferreira. He's known as Milo, if you guys would like to listen to his music. He's an awesome poet. And in one of his latest tracks, he has this line, and he speaks about how he was taking a shit at a petrol station, and on the door someone wrote, "What is the purpose of life?" And there was a response under there, and it said, "To be the eyes, the ears, and the consciousness of the creator of the universe. You fool." Wow, it's so good, man. That's inspiring, bro. It's inspiring. The question is equally inspiring as the reply. It is a gift to be a fool in a world of presumed knowers. And I'm not talking about Noah like the ark. I'm talking about Noah as in, I know what's going on. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to truly know, but that knowing is ultimately dissolving and fading as the moment progresses. We are living in an ever-changing reality. The dynamics of the universe will bring it back. The dynamics of our planet alone, are progressing at such a rate that you cannot keep up with the past. You can't. The past is being disproven on a daily basis. Old methods are dying out. New methods are being found out. So where does that leave, the knowledge seeker, the one who wants to know something? Well, quite simply, if you cannot be here and you cannot be there, you would have to exist somewhere in the middle. There's an infinitude of middle grounds. That is why we have so many beings, creatures, facets of consciousness that exist at a point in time. Me and a butterfly live a very similar life. A very, very similar life. The main difference is I was given the privilege of thought. See, we are still under the illusion that we are in full control of our reality. A lot of us. We think that we need to direct our consciousness in a specific way, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to keep going here, and on we march. To some extent, it can work for you, but to undermine the reality that this is still part of your existence purely for the fact that you gave it an awareness, it's silly, because you're ignoring a fact that is eventually going to round up back and meet you. Me thinking that, my cupboard has some peanuts in there that are soon going to run out, so let me not rush them. That moment where they have run out and I'm dissatisfied with the fact that I no longer have my peanuts is with me. It's already with me for the pure fact that I didn't want to experience it, so I've given it a sort of gravity. And that's the beauty of where we are now, is a lot of us are waking up to that fact that if there's something that you don't want in this life, it's very likely that you will meet this don't want and have to deal with it. Purely because love is all inclusive. Hate is exclusive. And we don't live in a system of hate. If we marvel at the beauty of nature, at the beauty of the birds and the bees, the lions and the elephants. We are operating in a system of love. There are animals that have certain migration patterns because the love that is being programmed in them is allowing them to change so that other events at other points of the world can take place. A bee doing its work of pollination. To see that as an act of hate is obviously ignorant. To see it as an act of love is so much easier and profoundly truer. Yeah, truer. Profoundly more true. Something like that. Because a bee is not doing this because it hates its job. A bee is just doing. It's just doing its job. It has that much love for the planet that it does its job. So we're looking at a system of love. We're not looking at a system of hate. And the old mind is caught in the system of hate because the system of hate is a little bit more comfortable in the world that we live in. Unfortunately true for the moment being, but love wins. You see, how can we claim to know what's going on when on a much deeper level there is energy all around us and within us that we can't see, we can't taste, we can't hear, we can't feel, we can't smell. So it's not that we are limited by our five senses, we are just overly indulged in the appreciation of these five senses, which is a beautiful tragedy. A beautiful tragedy. Because how cool that I get to eat an avocado and choose what I want to put on my avo. Animals in nature, they don't get to add spice. We get to add spice. And there alone is the beauty and the tragedy. Because the system of pleasure and pain that we've decided to give a name to has eradicated the idea that pleasure and pain are one and the same thing. Wouldn't that be a much more comfortable understanding? Not thinking, ooh, that's pleasurable, that's painful. Then inevitably receiving both, because this is a loving world, like I said, and you deserve both. Seeing them as the same thing, saying, oof, I have the pleasure of eating and the pain of not eating. Woo! It changes the mental construction around virtue. I saw an image on my phone and it said, virtue is a state of war, and to live in it means that one must constantly wage a battle against oneself. I apologize for perhaps misquoting the author, but the message remains. Virtue is a state of war. To say, I don't like these shoes, I like those shoes, means that later in life, when you see someone else wearing those shoes, you are slave to your own predisposed judgment, because we attach to the memories of the past. So now I see him and I'm thinking, ooh, what are those? And it has an adverse effect on our consciousness, whether we like it or not. Judgment always catches up to you in one form or another. And the more we project our judgment outwardly, the further we get from this inward awareness of pure love, pure being, and pure essence of source. the creator of this universe, encapsulates everything that is going on within the universe. Everything. So that essence of the creator has been injected into the system so that everything gets to feel the warmth, love, and protection of this creator. Even in fear, animals are still working through instinct, which means they are operating at a different level of consciousness where they are just doing, just being, because the creator is working through them. This is a world of doing nowadays. We want to do things. We want to act. Action. If you sort of get into the wordplay that our ancestors have created for us, and there's a lot of hidden wordplay, which any scholar of language, any person who's immersed in any form of speaking or language can be either blind to or open to with curiosity or scorn. Because there's so many small hints that have just been placed, boom, 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 just for us to understand. We're looking at Sanskrit, more ancient languages, and we look at karma. And karma, being translated into our English language, means action, right? Action, many people think is, to do something. But when you break it down further, the word act is within action. And to act is to essentially play a role. And we are caught in the system of karma or action because we are still acting upon a role that we believe we've been given. And it is always our fault, which is the beautiful thing. We got to wake up from that. Yes, our parents brought us into the world, and we couldn't choose as a baby what we were going to attach to and what we were going to be conditioned into. But you do choose. You give yourself the illusion of choice, and you think one thing is better than the other. That's just the end of it. Any kid could realize as a child that, but mommy, I don't want to be ashamed of my body. But no, we keep our mouths quiet and we allow these things to manifest into much deeper turmoil and tension and stress within our being. It's sad, but it's still our fault, which is beautiful. Because it means it's our responsibility to take ourselves out of that and into being, because we are beings. We are not doings. We are not human doings. So, the concept of awareness is an outward journey, yes, but if you have lived for 20 years and you've been focused on the outward journey and the outward expansion of, my life, you lose your sense of identity because you're so focused on the external. And now you're considering other people's ideas, opinions, beliefs, and not really trusting the basis of your own opinions and expressions and beliefs, because we're moving further from that inward sense of self and moving closer towards the outward sense of self. The outward sense of self is simply delusional. It's simply delusional. Because you get very lost when you forget to ask yourself, am I going the right way? which is something a lot of us don't take the time to do. How sad that we get given a life inside our own body and our own mind, and we look outside for all of the contentment and enjoyment and pleasure and happiness. We've been told for a very long time that the universe is within you. You are a cosmic being, but it's still coming from the outside. What if on the inside you are nothing more than a bright light or a dark room? And within this bright light or dark room, you have all of the answers to what your sense of contentment and enjoyment and pleasure and pain relates to. And that is the awareness that we are looking at. Inwardly expansive awareness.